Hi again, folks. Shane Shadows here, bringing you Shane Shadows Presents Classic Indies, great wrestling action from the Mid-Atlantic area over the past 35 years. I'm doing this in partnership with the Independent Rewind. We got a lot of good material that we've already brought you, and we have so much more that we want to bring you. Today's match is something that is very meaningful to me, two guys who have meant a lot to me, not only in my personal but my professional lives, and they are fighting each other for the CPW Championship Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Your challenger is none other than SwitchBlade, probably my toughest opponent ever. And the champion on this afternoon is my sometimes foe but always best friend, Mega Rocker Bobby Keller. And this match is coming to you from the Cadillac Club. And as we get into the match, if we can go ahead and start the action here, the Cadillac Club was the first real home base of Championship Pro Wrestling. It was the first building that we ran on a regular basis after we made our debut in 1997. The owner of or the co-owner of the Cadillac Club was Mike Keller, who was Bobby Keller's dad and just one of the absolute best guys that I've ever met in my entire life. And SwitchBlade has been introduced. The ring announcer is my dear late friend Adam Geller, who was just one of the coolest, funniest, most naturally talented guys that you would ever meet. Worked for, did a lot of production work for the UFC, and I'm just taking a minute here because this one kind of gets me emotional a little bit because he was such a good guy, and he did some work for Vince McMahon, WWF production stuff. He did New York Nets games, a lot of stuff for like regional sports in the New York area. He would come down here and stay at my house. He would not charge me anything because he was just hoping to do announcing and ring announcing and commentary on these events just so he could get additional practice. He was born in New York, and his father moved him to Boca Raton, Florida. We became friends through the one ads of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. I was looking for certain tapes, and then he was looking for certain tapes, and we became friends. He was 15 years old. I was 20. Adam died of cancer about 2 years ago, and only his immediate family knew. It's like I remember waking up one morning, and I was in the bathroom, and I started seeing a lot of him tagged in a lot of Facebook posts, and then I discovered through another friend that he had passed. I think he had colon cancer. Left behind a 2-year-old daughter and a wife. So Adam was a great guy, and I'm glad that we get to use some of these clips with him and involve them as well. You see Brian Johnson is walking back and forth. He's got a camera. We did have designs on trying to do our own regional TV show at that point. Hot dogs 2 for $1. All right, Adam. That's a CPW staple right there. It's Doc Gregory and Doc Hollywood managing SwitchBlade. The referee is Pat Lawson.
The current two-time CPW heavyweight champion. He is from right here in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Great memories here.
At
The Cadillac Club has taken on many shapes and forms, but it was adjacent to Leg's strip club. It's still there. It's been about 100 different strip clubs and bars and stuff over the years, but at this point in time, it was the monthly home of CPW wrestling on Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m. once a month. Here comes Keller. You see the stage and the Cadillac logo in the background. See, we started to try to put in some graphics here. Again, we were trying to. Wrestling was so hot at this point, 98, 99. We thought everybody in the world wanted wrestling, and we just thought that maybe we could hook up with like a regional cable companies and so forth like that. This is all just kind of part of me. In addition to calling this match, we talk a little bit on this one about these were my ambitions and so forth as a young guy promoting wrestling, and what I was trying to get out of what CPW was. Ideally, I wanted to run a regional territory that is far north as Harrisburg, as far south as Harrisburg. and to the west, you know, maybe if it spilled into the tips of Ohio, that would be good. But that was a little too ambitious. But I wanted to kind of stay in that 8170 corridor where we could get to every town. The idea, again, everything's about ambition. You're like, we could run 4 weekends a night and everyone could be home. We could run 4 nights a week and everyone could be home because everyone we were using either lived between Philadelphia to Richmond. You could literally go and work a daytime job and come and work a nighttime shot if you wanted to. That was the idea. However, that didn't really work out because there were so many holes in that strategy. There's Mike Keller right there taking the belt. That's Bobby's dad. You may hear a little bit of Adam Geller's commentary behind me if there's a little bit of a track there. But, you know, again, Adam was coming and staying at my house and was not charging me. He just wanted to have stuff on tape that he could try to take as auditions to try to work for Vince McMahon. And he actually worked in the production side of things. He also worked at Vince's short-lived restaurant, whatever the hell that thing was called. What was it, The World or whatever that was in Manhattan? He worked there for a spell too. I mean, it wasn't like he was a busboy. I mean, he was. They were doing like a lot of live events and stuff there, so he was trying to do a lot of that stuff as well. Keller at this point has held the championship for a while. I mean, it's changed hands once or twice, but he had regained it a few months earlier. SwitchBlade, a formidable challenger in anybody's estimation. I mean, this is just a tough, hard guy. I mean, I can't say enough good things about either one of these guys. In the ring, they were both two of my best opponents. Oh, very rare do you see SwitchBlade duck and dodge from somebody, but in this case, it's probably just part of the strategy. Doc Gregory, Doc Hollywood, another guy who goes way back with me. He was a wrestler and a manager and a commentator, and he's done about everything. He's refereed and done wrestling in this area for 25 plus years himself. These are all seasoned guys, and this is before we're all too seasoned. We're all still young and ambitious, and we think, and we're also, let's just be honest, we're in the midst of what, for lack of a better way of putting it, a promotional war with the NWL, who is running the same area as we are, with Dick Kirchhoff and John Rambo. And I think in an upcoming event that we'll be recording, I'll go into more depth about some of the things that were going on, some of the machinations that were going on behind the scenes, in the ring and outside the ring, as I split away from the NWL and in the aftermath of Neil Superior's passing. But to the point here on this match, Keller working the arm, cranking it over, drops the leg across. You see the two camera shoot that we're doing here, where we got the stationary camera and we got the up close camera, and I love these up close clips because you can see what we're trying to do. You get the rule, but you also see how primitive television production equipment was in 1998 as well. Because I mean, these are. We don't have like a big lighting grid or anything. I mean, we're literally trying to put this stuff together to see if someone would get interested in us. But this is a match that happened many times, not only in CPW but around this area. These guys started together. They were in the same graduating class, and I can honestly tell you that I wrestled in both of their first professional matches, and I did so at the same time. You want to know how I did that? Well, I tag teamed with one and wrestled with the other one, and we had a 6-man tag team match. And maybe we'll bring that match to you one day because it is part of the collection here. Blade working on Keller hard. He had that southpaw approach, and he could put those 300 pounds behind it. He was like hitting you in the back of the head with a club. What we got here? Double underhook suplex coming up. Ooh, taking the measure of Keller early. Lawson down. 2. Keller out. Keller out.
You don't expect to see that out of SwitchBlade. But he's really surprising us.
I didn't think that doing some of these early matches like this, just the CPW, because they're not quite as old. I mean, they are old. I mean, we're talking about 1998, 1999 footage. But it brings back such nostalgia. Oh, Doc grabbing a hold of Keller. Doc was a nefarious little man. Fearless. Still is. Still is a fearless guy. Look out. Nobody home. Nobody home. Keller gets out of the way. Blade drops himself down around the lower extremities, which, for lack of a better way of putting it. And now he's in trouble. At this point in time, like I said, this is October of 1998. We have what you haven't seen on this tape is there was an influx of talent that came from the Rambo ran House of Pain Wrestling School. That one smarted on the back, and a big arm drag by Keller. There had been an influx of talent who had came in earlier in the afternoon, who had already made their presence felt, and the guys included the somewhat infamous local tag team Gutter Boy and Skank the Grungers, and Professor Egon Ecton. All guys who I had known from, and we all knew these guys, but they were coming in. They had departed the NWL and the House of Pain, and they had came to the CPW, and they clearly earlier in the day made their presence felt, and pretty much proved that they were a big clothesline. Flied out of that buckle, and Keller with a big clothesline on SwitchBlade. These guys are going at it. I mean, this championship has been established over the first year of Championship Pro Wrestling as something meaning. Ooh! Clothesline sending SwitchBlade from the inside to the outside, about a 4.5 to 5 foot drop over backwards, which does not tickle. Strong crowd on this afternoon at the Cadillac Club. We were doing some pretty good business there on the regular. Oh wow! Oh! I think he just rammed them together. Not that you could tell by the great lighting system that we have on the outside surrounding the ringside. You basically see the lights above there, that drop ceiling and the bar. Well, that was the lighting that we had. You know, this is also kind of lends itself to the intimacy of what live independent pro wrestling really can be. Ooh, Hangman's Bobby across the top, and SwitchBlade gains the advantage here. Kind of all over the place calling this match, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of memories and a lot of emotion. I'm trying to it's a good match. It's hard hitting, but you know, I'm also thinking back everything that was going on this afternoon. I'm dealing with talent, and this is a first year 2 years into me doing my own promotional work on these events. So I'm the guy who's making sure that the ring's getting there, and oh, Keller, ooh, another crotch shot. SwitchBlade in trouble here now. What do we got going on here? And Bobby with a right. And another one. Oh, wow. We're going to go for a superplex here. SwitchBlade kind of pushed him off, but Bobby got a second effort here. Did we fall on the cameraman? What? Oh, look at this. Hello! They hit the lights. Oh, my God. They hit the lights. There's Ecton and the Grungers, as previously mentioned. Oh! Dock into the post. What is this? Gutter Boy with a chair across Keller. What's going on here? These guys were always known as wild and controversial characters here throughout the region. SwitchBlade trying to struggle up to his feet. Are they here to help him? Oh, wait a minute, no. Oh! What is going on? These guys, the Grungers putting the boots to SwitchBlade. Ecton is abusing. Uh-oh. Here I come. Look at this guy. Fighting everybody. These guys have come in. I've already been having trouble with, oh God. And that Slicky Boy, that was their friend. He wasn't even there when I went. And they're wearing a hole in us. Look at the blood. This is out of control action here. The Grungers are all over me. Ecton. I mean, these guys are. Doc has grabbed the chair and are trying to run these guys off. This vicious, horrible attack on all of us. The unsuspecting behavior of the Grungers, Slicky Boy and Ecton. So now what's going on? Now the rest of the locker room has decided to come out because these guys are basically outsiders here. This is their first day in the promotion, and they've already done all this. And the camera's trying to follow them as they run out through the parking lot, probably into an awaiting car to get out of town. These guys were just uncontrollable, and they didn't wrestle for us for very long.
Obviously, a winner by disqualification is not going to have Kid Bob Keller.
Well, I don't know. What's this decision? You know, Adam says that it was obvious that Keller won by disqualification, but I don't really know that you could really make an assertive claim that that should have happened. They jumped on SwitchBlade too. What is going on here? This was a wild scene that day. It's the camera's trying to catch it, but they're trying to chase the cameras, and everybody's just been a chaotic scene at the Cadillac Club on this Sunday afternoon. And ultimately, what this was supposed to be, it led to a series of matches. The follow-up of event in December, of which some of the footage exists, but most of it does not. Had me wrestling Mr. Ecton and Keller wrestling with I think it was Keller and SwitchBlade joined forces against the Grungers, and so we were off and running. The idea was supposed to be the Grungers, Ecton, and Slicky faction was known as the Revolution, which was before anybody had used that name, and we had built up to a series of matches, and then we got to the beginning of 1999, and we were scheduled to do like this big 8-man tag team matchup, and the ring didn't show up. Yeah, the guy I was using the ring from was out of Cleveland, and apparently he got locked up, and he said, "I'm not going to be able to make it." Someone called me and said, either he was locked up or the guy who used I don't know. It's independent wrestling, and this is just the way it works sometimes. But the guy who owned the van that he uses was locked up, and he couldn't get the keys. It was something like that, and that was pretty much the end of it, and we never got a chance to get it back, because once the bloom's off the rose, it's gone. But that's going to conclude this one, folks. I hope you enjoyed this match. A little trip down memory lane, a little different feel and approach here today. As I kind of go back through my memories a little bit, and through CPW and some of the people who you saw on this screen who meant so much to me, and some of them are no longer with us. Adam Geller and Mike Keller. We're going to see you next time. Thank you for supporting the Independent Rewind. This is Shane Shadows with Shane Shadows Presents. Thank you, everybody.